and welcome from the Internet Reloaded Berlin 2017. I'm Christina from we.CONECT and I'm really happy to be with Christoph Meier from Lufthansa Group. Christoph, welcome to the conference and thank you so much for participating in that interview.
Hello Christina, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. As a start, do you mind briefly introducing yourself and tell us a bit more about your professional background?
Yes, I've been with the airline industry for the past 15 years in various functions, not initially in communications, but I've meanwhile covered everything from finance communications to heading up the internal communications department at Swiss. Then I was in Dubai for 3 years where I was responsible for PR in Africa and the Middle East, and then took over the media relations department of the Lufthansa Group until 2 years ago when I switched to my current position, which is communications strategy and planning, with a team covering content planning as well as channel development.
Okay, and you also moderated a World Cafe roundtable this afternoon on internal communications in the corporate newsroom. So what has sparked your interest to actually bring that topic to the event, or what did you want to discuss with the delegates?
I'm totally fascinated by the opportunity that the digitization offers to the corporate communications function. I think it's a strong catalyst to finally bring together internal communications and media relations. I find that in many organizations, those two, unlike siblings, operated in sort of two very independent silos, which I find is very unfortunate from a content perspective, because oftentimes they treat very related content for different audiences, of course, but you can lift a lot of synergies and produce really great content if you work together, and digitization makes that possible.
And how do you combine those two silos at Lufthansa?
We have made a number of steps. It hasn't happened overnight, obviously. The first and most important ingredient is mindset. You need to come to the point where you want to work together, but then you have to facilitate the growing together process by, I think, a physical infrastructure. So we moved to a corporate newsroom. We're all in one large open space office now. We have a newsroom desk, a round desk, where we have 5 key functions represented. We always have a duty officer of the week. We have a rep from the media relations team. We have somebody from the internal online team, somebody from social media, and a planner. And there we all work together.
Okay, and when you presented your ideas, what feedback and insights did you get from the delegates?
Well, it was interesting. Some delegates related fully to our situation, and others seem to have the opposite problem. Our challenge is now to get media relations onto the same level that our internal communications colleagues are, and some other delegates seem to have the opposite situation, where they were still in a situation where internal communications was kind of feeding off the hard news of media relations. We have the opposite situation. We have a very creative internal communications team who produce a lot of background stories, feature stories, and we have difficulty playing those non-hard topics out to the external audiences.
And did you get any additional ideas where you thought, that's quite an interesting thought, I might take that back with me to the office and have further discussions?
Yes, I have, of course, and I was hoping to get that feedback. I think from our side we can still learn to better integrate social feedback within internal internal communications. It's too much us sending out, and of course we get certain reactions, but I think it could be a lot more interactive, and there I've gotten some very important insights, yes.
Okay, and one last question. If you were to look into the future, and you already mentioned that, you might focus on social a bit more and also take feedback on board, what else might be a focus for the next upcoming years for Lufthansa?
For the next upcoming year, our big aim is to really integrate internal and external communication, content-based, content-oriented, And that is made possible by a joint content management system, which we're feeding through a so-called editorial cockpit. And I believe that the boundaries between internal and external, apart from maybe the spokesperson function, will largely be dissolved. And that is going to be very positive for the output that we will produce.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. It's really appreciated. And enjoy
My
the rest
pleasure.
of the conference.
Thank you.